What up, crew world? It's your boy. Well, what up, everyone, though? For real, though. What is up? What is up? This is your Wake Up with Justin, or Wake Up Justin. I'm Justin. It's time to wake up. How's everyone doing out there? It is 11/10/2025 That's the date today. That's kind of a tongue twister of a date. 11/10. My two favorite numbers. Maybe that's why I'm feeling some sort of way last night and today. Seems fun, but I'm telling you, dude, after so many days of doing the same thing, no matter what it is, you're gonna get bored of it. No matter what it is, I don't care if it's your favorite thing in the world. After a while, you're gonna get tired of it. Listen, I love, I love playing Call of Duty. Trust me, I love playing Call of Duty. Can I play Call of Duty for more than 15 hours straight? Hell no. Hell no. I get tired of it after the first, I think the max I ever played probably straight a game, a session of Call of Duty. This is back years ago when I was younger, probably in my 20s, whatever. It was probably like 12 or 13 hours straight, probably, I would say, of Call of Duty back when I was younger. But for me to do that now at my age and knowing what I know and things and knowing what I have to do and everything, it would almost be impossible for me to do it. Just for the fact that I know better. That's the thing. You gotta tell yourself I know better. I know better than this. That's why you don't. That's why you don't do things when you're older because you know better. It's just sometimes it takes people to understand that. Um, it takes people knowing that and fully understanding it. It takes some people longer than others to know better. Sometimes people learn on the first lesson. Sometimes it takes someone 20 lessons to learn the same lesson. Um, yeah, but it's about knowing better. I know better. I know if I stayed up for 15 hours straight playing Call of Duty again in my 30s, it would wreck me. It would wreck me. I know better than that. I think our whole system, what we put value on, what we put value and wealth on is the complete opposite of what we should. We put price tags on objects and things instead of holding people's character or their integrity or their self-worth in that same regard. you know how much tenacity does someone have? How much grit does someone have? How much determination does someone have? How much hardship can someone go through and still stand? Those things should have value to them. Who gives a shit what kind of car you drive? What kind of person are you? Cares? Give a shit. And that's the different kind of mentality people have. You know, there's two mentalities of this world. There's mentalities like mine where it's like I don't give a fuck. Cool, dude, you got a nice car, cool, but what can you do? What can you actually do? What are you actually worth? What have you actually done? Who have you actually helped? There's a lot of shitty people out there that have money. Money doesn't make you a good person. I think people have forgotten that, or forget about that, or don't realize we're putting values on the wrong things in life. You know, their character, their content of their character as a person means more than anything, because that's the most important part of your life is the people you surround yourself with and who you work for and what you do for a living. Those are huge aspects of your life as an adult. And if you're not a good judgment of people's character or what makes someone, have good character, or what are the basics of having good character or whatever it may be, you're going to be you're going to you're going to be taken for rides, man. Because there's people out here that will use and abuse you in a heartbeat without even thinking about it. And they may not even know they're doing it for the fact that's how they were raised by their parents, and no one has the courage or enough gumption to stamp to them and tell them, hey, what you're doing is wrong. How you're living is wrong. Everything you've been doing is wrong. Sometimes, the best option isn't always the easiest option. You know, I had an ex-girlfriend for a very long time that I had to break up with. It wasn't the easiest option, but it was the best option, and I know that. Yeah, the yeah, the best option sometimes isn't always the easiest. Conformity in your comfort zone will kill you 100%. Is like that's a prime example right there. If you stay in a toxic relationship and you get comfortable in it and you're too afraid to leave that comfort because that's all you've known for how many years, well then your comfort zone's killing you. It could literally kill you, and it's just killing your growth as a human at the end of the day. It's like killing your desire to like live almost, which is basically a death sentence at that point. Once your desire to live is gone, and if you don't find it, or if you stop searching for it, it could be a long road to recovery. I saw a homeless man walking the other day, a real homeless man, because there's people out here that I live that try panhandling, that pretend to be homeless, but they're not really homeless. You see them get in their car and drive away at some point while they're staying on the corner. Um, but then you see an actually homeless person walking, and it's like, I've always heard people be like, I don't understand how people could end up that way. It's like how, it's like I totally can understand how someone could end up that way, dude. If you have no support system at all, and everyone in your life is gone, and like your parents are dead, and they really didn't have much of a life or leave you with anything, and you have no family anymore really and stuff like that, and like you're 100% fully reliant on yourself, and you don't know how to take care of yourself or how to like defend for yourself or survive you know what I mean, or whatever the circumstance may be. I could see how you could fall so far and get so far knocked down it'd be like almost impossible to get back up, because everyone needs help. Everyone at some point, everyone is going to need someone's help. You can't do this alone. I needed help throughout, you know, my times in life. Shit. Uh, I had a bike. I had an e-bike delivered to my house, and I had one of my friends come and get it off my porch for me and put it in my garage when I was at work. Someone stole it. I needed someone's help. I can't just leave work to get something out. Like at some point you're going to need someone's help to help you, no matter with what it is. But if you have no one to fully help you, it'd be hard to do it on your own. To fully do it on your own, like fully do it on your own. Like no help from anyone ever. I always tell people at work, I don't do it. I don't do it for the that for the that a boys. I ain't here for that boys. I'm not here for that. I don't need a that boy. I don't need none of that. Nah, I'm here to work and get shit done. I don't give a shit about your that boys. People get so confused when I say that. They're like, what, you don't want to be told a good job, Justin? Nah, dude. I don't want to be told a good job, man. I just want to work, get shit done. It's a very big it's more like a mental thing, really. It's not that everyone's different. Everyone lives different lives. But for me, it's like, dude, I'm choosing to be there. Like I choose to be there. If I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? And like people doing like oh that a boys and things like that. It's like they're trying to trick you into staying working for them by doing those kind of things, because people like positive reinforcement like that because it's scarcely given in this world. But it's like I don't need that because I know who I am. I'm aware of what I'm doing. Like I'm fully aware, 100% aware. I'm probably one of the realest people you're gonna meet. 100%. And for me to go to work and have someone tell me a good job or that a boy, dude, go 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 kick rocks. I don't need them. Well, because I know what I can do and what I'm capable of, and I know I'm doing a good job. Like personally, I know I'm performing in my field better than 90% of people that I'm in my field with. You know, like I don't stay up late. I go to bed early. I work out. I have a routine. I have a schedule. I'm disciplined. Um, don't you know? I don't know. Like I'm pretty self-aware of everything that's going on around me. Almost uh, too too much for my own good. Sometimes I want to say. I heard a quote um, the other day. Well, I wasn't sure. I'm not sure if it was a quote as much. Um, Man, it's been quite a morning monologue talk. I knew I had a lot to say because I've been feeling it, and like the path I'm on right now, and the way I'm living right now, and like what I'm doing right now with going to bed early, having routine, staying disciplined, watching what I'm eating, working out, and things like that. Like I know for a fact my body, like how the body works and how it's kind of like an antenna and a receptor and things like that. So it's like the cleaner you live, the cleaner you eat, and everything, the better your connection is, and the more whatever source, whatever you can download is. So I know like the things that I'll be able to say here pretty soon and talk about. It's gonna flow. It's gonna flow like water. You need to flow like water. Be like water. It's true though, because water has waves, and it's just like life. Like I was saying, like a rhythm, circadic rhythm. It's a circadic rhythm. Heard someone say that at work the other day. Circadic rhythm. That's what it is though. It's your circadic rhythm. Your circadic rhythm of life. No, I heard a quote the other day, and it was, it's hard to see, or it's hard to see the full picture when you're busy painting the background. That was the that was like the saying in the quote, and that really uh, stuck with me because it's right. You don't see the full picture as you're painting life. You know, when you live life, you go through life, you have small experiences, and throughout life's journey, and the small experiences, create the whole picture of life when you step back and look at it at the end of it. Um, when you're older, in your 80s, and you look back, you'll be able to see the picture of your life and what it looks like and how it turned out. But right now, you're just painting the background of life. You go through a breakup. You know, there's a tree. You start a new job. There's a cloud. Whatever it may be, you're the moments in life, and as you're living life, you're painting the background to your picture. And then once your life is done, you step back and you look at your picture. Hopefully the picture turned out how you envisioned it and how you want it to look. Because in life, like I have said always, you can always look at life in different levels and in different scopes, and you can pull in, or you can pull out, or you can zoom in, and you can zoom out. I can look at this as I'm in a chair in a house, boom, or like I'm in a chair in a house, on a street, on a block, in a city, in a county, in a state, in a continent, in a world, in a Milky Way, in a universe, you know. And it's like you can always go further back, you can always pull back, back, further, further, further. You can always zoom in closer, closer, closer. I can zoom in even further. I'm a person in a chair with skin, with organisms on my skin, and those organisms on my skin and bacteria on my skin and whatever do certain things and live a life unbeknownst to me that I know nothing about. I'm sure it's been studied, and I'm sure everything has names and what it does and the functionality of it all. But I don't know what any of it is, but it's there. I just can't zoom in that far with my human eyes to see it. But when you have a microscope, you can see it because you can zoom in even further. Perspective, I would say. Perspective. You can have uh, a wide, a wider perspective, a wide perspective of life where you know you encompass more of like the bigger picture. Like I said, like the bigger picture. The Earth inside the universe, inside the Milky Way type thing, and everything like that. Or you can take your perspective and you could zoom it in and keep it closer, where it's like, all right, well, I'm about, you know, self self love, individuality, and all those things. And I think just in life in general, I think people are on different journeys and different paths, and everyone has different things to learn, but the common core message is the same. But we all have different um, lessons and things we need to learn, and I think that comes from the the upbringing you were in, or the upbringing you're brought in, or whatever is your upbringing. Sorry, your upbringing. I think upbringing is a good way to put it, because it's the way you're being brought up. Words are very important. I think this is why, like, I don't mind it, 'cause it's like I don't mind slang words and stuff like that, but I think it kind of muddies up the language barriers, and it kind of muddies up what the actual true meaning of the word actually means, and it gets lost in translation type thing. So I'm not really too much into that. I would say, but because words are very important. You know, speak less and do more. Is speak less, do more. Let your actions do your talking for you. Don't be all talk and no show. Working in kitchens, I've seen that my whole career. Is when you hire a new guy, he's like, "Oh yeah, I used to be a chef here. I used to be a chef there. I line cooked here," and like he like builds up this huge resume, and he's all talk and no show. And he comes in the first day, and you're like, "Who the fuck is this guy? Can't even cook a mid-rare hamburger, you know? Like, and you were a chef where, or all bark and no bite. That was, you know, life in a nutshell right there in that hour span talk right there. Like literally, you could clip that out for days if you want to. Saying all the right things, just no one knows who I am. That's the thing. I gotta put myself out there more. I just gotta figure out how to do it. I just gotta figure out how to put myself out there more.